Hello, I'm Frank White, and this is the third video in a series on the topic We're All in This Together, with specific reference to the overview effect and what I'm now calling the COVID effect. We're going to be looking at the insights of astronauts and the experiences of those of us on the surface as we have dealt with this unprecedented crisis. Now, in my second video, I talked about lessons learned after and during wars on Earth. And I talked about two kinds of lessons learned. One, lessons that were incorrect and led to bad outcomes. The other being lessons that could have been helpful, but they were forgotten or not implemented. So today I'm going to start a series of conversations about lessons learned from our experience with COVID, always with an eye on space exploration. And I'm going to keep it short. I think I'll deal with one lesson in each video. So today I would like to talk about a lesson that we may learn, and I hope we don't. And that is this. I'm hoping that once we come through the worst of this crisis, we won't decide that we're capable of anything, that we can do anything, and we can go back to normal. We've defeated the virus. What's next? Now, I do believe human beings are capable of almost anything, and I do believe in being optimistic and ambitious in that sense. On the other hand, in the context of planet Earth, I don't really want us to return to the old normal. I've been blogging about this, and I think what we're learning is we've pushed our spaceship Earth, very hard in the last couple of centuries. And we can step back a bit. As terrible as the crisis has been, and nobody wants lives lost or people to be sick or people to lose their jobs or for the economy to be wrecked, we have learned we can do quite a lot online. We can reduce our travel. We can reduce conferences that require us to all go to the same city or the same place. We've learned to be nimble and a little bit more forgiving of the environment, or a little bit more careful with the environment. I'm not an expert on this, but I've been picking up the fact that some of what's going on with viruses in general is animal to human transmission. And to some extent, that has to do with traditional habits regarding food, but to some extent, it's also happening because human beings are encroaching on animal habitats. And as we get closer to them, the possibilities of transmission become more likely. That could just be one example of pushing the environment a little too hard. So I hope we don't just decide to redouble our efforts in the old direction, but to step back and in conversations like this one, ask ourselves, have there been some lessons we've learned about how we can communicate with one another, how we can congregate with one another, that it leaves a little bit less of a footprint on planet Earth? Can we give the planet a little bit of room to breathe? Is it possible, too, that in terms of our connection to the planet, all living things, and to one another, the notion that we're all in this together can become something more than a mantra or even a cliche? It can become a phrase that guides our habits and our behavior in the future. I want to talk about that more in the next video. Thanks for joining me today.